Well, hello, welcome again to a reading through of St Paul's epistle to the Romans. I got up to chapter 11. Lego un me apostato hotheos ton laon autou, me genoito, kaiga ego Israelites ami expermatos Abraham fules Benjamin. I therefore say, and then we get a question here, expecting the answer no. The verb here, apostato, is from apotheo. Otheos is to push away, so hence to reject. It's quite a strong word. It's reject, but it's got a sense of just pushing away, throwing away. So surely God has not rejected his people. May genoito, may it not be. For I am an Israelite, quite emphatic ego, for I am an Israelite, from the seed of Abraham and from the tribe of Benjamin. Uk apostato theos ton laon autou hon pro egno, a uk oidati en elia ti lege he graphe, hos entukano to theo kata to Israel. I'm going to get a quotation. So God did not reject, he did not thrust away his people, whom pro egno, from pro plus ginosko, whom he foreknew. Now here it's a question, so the uk's expecting it's a question here. So God did not, it's really of a mixture, so God did not reject the people whom he foreknew. Now we get a question with the a here, or do you not know? It's almost like surely you know, but the Greek says, or do you not know, in Elijah, what the scripture says. And probably in the case of here, what the scripture says in Elijah, or in regard to Elijah. How en tunkano literally is to meet with, and it takes a dative, and probably often translated here, he appeals to, but it's literally how he meets with God, kata against Israel. And now we get a quotation from 1 Kings 19, 10 and 14. Kyrie, tous prophetas tu apoktenan, ta thusiasteria su kateskapsan, kaga hup elephthein monos, kai tsetusin ten psuken mu. So, O Lord, they killed, from apokteno, eris, they killed your prophets. The verb here, it's kateskapsan, from kataskapto. Skapto is to dig. The kata really emphasises that it's almost like to dig down to the foundations, to totally destroy something. It's a very strong word. It means to demolish. So they killed your prophets, and they demolished ta thusiasteriasu, your altars. This is the standard word in the Septuagint and the New Testament for the Jewish altar. So they've demolished your altars, cargo for kai ego, and I alone, hup elephte, from hup elepo, this is aorist passive, I alone am left. Kai tsetusin, and they are seeking my life, literally my soul. Alati lege auto ho krematismos. Krematismos is literally an oracle. Here it means simply a reply from God, I think is the meaning of it. It is a word meaning oracle, so perhaps the reply to God says to him. Katelepon em auto heptakis andras. Hoitines uk ekampsen gonu te Baal. So it's I have left for myself 7,000 men. I've left for myself 7,000 men in who have not bent the knee to Baal. I have left there 7,000. Sorry, I'll do that again. I have left behind from Catalepo. I've left behind for myself 7,000. It's heptakiskilioi. 7,000 men who have not bent from Canto, bent the knee to Baal. Hutos un kai ento nun kairo lema kat eklogain caritas gegonin. Thus now also ento nun kairo at the present season, at the present time. Lema, this is a noun, third declension, neuter noun, formed from lepo, to leave, so this becomes a remnant, a thing which is left behind. So a remnant has existed. Kat ek logain caritas. It's a funny expression here. It's something like according to the choosing of grace. So it's a remnant, we might say, chosen by grace, but it's literally a remnant according to the chosen or the choosing of grace. So he's using eklogain here as an abstract noun. But if adicarity uketi ex ergon epe he charis uketi ginatai charis. But if it is by grace, understand it is no longer ex ergon by means of works, since it's something like in that case, grace no longer becomes grace or is grace. So the epe is almost like otherwise. So if it is by grace, then it's no longer by works. Otherwise, grace is not grace. Ti'un, what then? Ha epitsete Israel, tu to uk ep et tu ken, heide ek logei ep et tu ken. Hoi de loipoi eporothesan. Let me get a quotation, I'll hold that bit there. What then? That which Israel, epitsete, was seeking after, it, that's referring to Israel, it did not meet with this. So this it did not meet with. This is from epitunkano. Now, really, it should technically, grammatically, this should be a dative after epitunkano. To meet with something is normally with a dative, but because he started with tuto in apposition to the ha, he hasn't put it, then he's got the verb afterwards, so technically it should be dative. So, what then? That which Israel was seeking after, this it did not find. But the ekloge, here we have abstract for concrete, so the elect, it's actually it's an abstract noun, but here it's the elect met with it. So it's that same verb, from epitunkano. Hoi de loipoi. Now the verb here is eporothesan. Now take off the epsilon, you get poro is the verb, meaning to harden. And this is an aorist passive. So the remainder were hardened, had become hardened. Kathos gegraptai. Again, another quotation here. This quotation is from Deuteronomy 24:9 and then also Isaiah 29:10. Edoken autois otheos pneuma kat anuxios ophthalmus tu me blepein kai ota tu me akuein heros te semeron hemeras. God gave, from Didomi, autois to them, pneuma, a spirit. Now katanuxis is the noun here. It's a third declension abstract feminine noun, katanuxis. There's a verb nusso, to prick, and with kata can have the sense of to stun someone. And this is the abstract noun from this, meaning numbness or insensitivity. So God gave to them a spirit of numbness or insensitivity. Understand, he gave to them eyes so as not to see, and he gave to them ears so as not to hear. Heos te semeron hemeras. This is a Hebraic expression. It's literally unto the day of today. So semeron simply means today. So we would say until this very day. It's a Hebrew expression. Kai David lege, another quotation here from Psalm 69:22-23 and 35:8. So David says, Gene theto he trapesta auton es pagida, kai es theron, kai es scandalon, kai es antapodoma, autois, scotis thetosan hoi ophthalmoi auton, tu me blepein, kai ton noton auton diapantas sun campson. Now the subject here is trapezda, which is table. It's their table in the sense of their feast. In other words, the sitting down to eat with them. So it's literally, and this is an imperative. So let their table, perhaps sometimes translated, let their feast, let it be as a pagida, as a snare, as a trap. This is a third declension noun from pagis, originally connected with pagnumi, which is to fix something. So it's like a trap that you fix. So it just becomes a word for a trap or ensnarement. So let their table literally become as a ensnarement or a trap. Kai es theron. Thera originally meant a hunting, the act of hunting. Here it's sort of, I think, another word for a trap here, and it's generally taken as. It's not part of the original quotation. So let their table be as a snare and as a trap, and as a stumbling block, a scandalon, and as an antapodoma autois. Now this is from anti plus apo and then the doma root connected with didomi. So it means giving back in return. Hence retribution or literally repayment, but probably I think retribution. So as a stumbling block and as a repayment or a retribution, autois for them. Now, Scotis thetosan, this is a third person, plural, imperative, passive. It's from scotisdo, to darken. That's passive. You can see the theta eta, and the tosan is that special, it's not the usual third person imperative in classical Greek. But it's slightly different in biblical Greek, but this is a third person imperative, passive. So let their eyes become dark. Let their eyes be darkened, so as, to plus the infinitive, so as not to see, and now the imperative here is at the end, sun campson, from sun campto, to bend, and bend their back, generally a sign of slavery, diapantos, through all time, hence forever. So bend their back forever. The next section here, Lego un me eptaisan hina pesosin me genoito ala to auton paraptomati hesoteria tois ethnesin eis to paratselosai autus. I say, therefore, and I'll get a question again, expecting the answer no. Surely they did not stumble in order that they might fall, literally. So surely they didn't stumble in order that they might fall. In other words, they stumble but they actually fall over completely. Meganoito, may it not be. Allah, but by their transgression, paraptoma, by the transgression of them, by their transgression, there's no main verb here, you'll just apply is, salvation, or came really, salvation came to the Gentiles. There's no main verb here, Paul often leaves it out. So as them to become jealous, so as to make them jealous. So to do that bit again, but by their transgression, salvation came to the Gentiles with the result, or so as to make them jealous. But if the paraptoma auton plutos cosmu kai to hetema auton plutos ethnon posumalon to pleroma auton. But if their transgression, got to supply again, there's no verbs here, something like becomes or results in the plutos, the wealth of the cosmos, of the world, and their hetema. You get hason is a word meaning defeat. There's a verb hetamai, I defeat, I am worsted. So this word means failure, I think. Their failure, their defeat almost. So their failure, understand, becomes the plutos, the wealth of the Gentiles. Posso malon, by how much more, understand, will, to pleroma auton. Now pleroma simply means the fulfillment, or perhaps the filling up. Complement is another possible translation. So by how much more, understand, will be their complement, that is, their full and completed number, is a way of paraphrasing this. It's very vague in the Greek. So just to do that last verse again here. So, but if their transgression results in wealth for the cosmos, also their failure will result in, and their failure results in the wealth of the Gentiles, by how much more will be their full complement, their full and completed number. Humin lego tois ethnesin, ef hoson men un, ami ego ethnon apostolos, tain diakonian mu doxasdo. A pos paratseloso mu ten saka kai sosotinas ex auton. Full stop there. So, but I am speaking to you, the Gentiles. Now I'm going to take the next bit first, I think. So I glorify my ministry, F hoson, to the extent that min therefore I am an apostle of the Gentiles. So I glorify my ministry, literally, to the extent that I am the apostle of the Gentiles. And again, we get this menun, but there's no corresponding de. If perchance, notice this is this indefinite pose, you can tell by the accent back here. So if perchance, paratseloso, I might make jealous, ton sakamu, literally my flesh. So what he means here is my fellow countrymen, those who are connected with me according to the flesh. So you can't translate it as my flesh, but that's literally what it is. You have to say my fellow countrymen. I might make jealous my fellow countrymen, and I might save, these are subjunctives here, and I might save tinas, certain ones from among them, so certain of them. Ega he apabole auton catalage cosmu tis a proslempsis ame zoe ek necron. So we've got a question for if. Now the apabole, it's from apa and then ballo, throwing away, so hence rejection. It's an abstract noun. So if their rejection, again you've got to say, results in the catalage, the reconciliation of the cosmos, of the world, tis what will the proslapsis, the acceptance, what will the acceptance, you've got to supply something like be or mean, other than accept life from the dead. So what is their acceptance? Accept life from the dead. The proslapsis from connected with proslambano, it's an abstract noun. It's meant to be the opposite of apabole here. These are meant to be antonyms. So for if their rejection resulted in reconciliation of the world, what will their acceptance mean, we'd have to say, other than life from the dead? E te hagia kai tofurama kai e heris de hagia kai hoi kladoi. But if the first fruits are holy, holy also understood will be tofurama, the lump. So if the first fruits are holy, so is the whole lump. Furama, we saw that before. It was used earlier as a lump in the sense of a lump of clay. Here it's probably a lump of dough, which is the other common usage of this. It's from a verb furo, to mix. So you get the dough by mixing water and flour. And furama simply means the lump. And if the root is holy, also are the branches, the kladoi. And that is the first part of chapter 11.